Hello there. Welcome. It's good to see you, Matthew. Okay. Can you hear me? Tell me in the chat if you can hear me. Omni can hear me. Ah, sound, says Texas. Omni says, Professor, yes. Thank you all. Matthew's working on his audio. We'll see if he can get it. At first, I couldn't hear him when he came into the StreamYard. So, what do we do with Matthew? He's so lovable in his issues. I don't know if you can read his lips. He said he's like Han Solo. This isn't my fault. This isn't my fault. Texas says, I see he added the Egyptian god of frustration to his background, which seems appropriate right now. Yes, very true. Joel says, push mute to unmute.
All right, let's see.
Gorilla says, tell Matthew to stop running Windows 98 and we wouldn't have these problems.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you? I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Can you hear Matthew?
Can. Maybe.
They're hoping. He's hoping. Ah, Omni says, yes, we can hear him now.
Oh, okay. So
Azo says, yes.
So this Windows fault.
Oh, static with your mic.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is Windows fault. All right. So yeah, sorry everyone. And hey Gorilla, how you doing? Hey everyone, how you doing? Good to see you, Trevor Lord, Positive Candor, Omnicast, Shy, Kay Roberts, Patrick, and Joel. How's everyone doing? So here,
and Anna's here too.
Oh, and Anna, sorry, I probably missed a lot while I was having to do troubleshooting live, which is never a super fun thing. But I'm pretty sure what happened here is that Windows forced out their Windows 11 24H2 update or 2H, something like that.
I haven't even gotten that yet.
And I think that when I did that, it has somehow broken some audio settings that I had set up over in Voicemeeter, maybe.
Have you updated Voicemeeter?
I haven't got a notification for that.
Okay. You should, because there were some issues with 24H2 and Voicemeter. So make sure you get the latest Voicemeter.
That might be the issue then. All right.
That could be. Although I'm surprised you even got 24H2.
Oh yeah,
because it was blocking if you had the older version of Voicemeter.
Oh. Huh. Maybe I have updated?
Maybe, I don't know.
Now I use a program called Explorer Patcher to give me the Windows 10 style what do you call it? Start menu?
Start menu. Yeah, I bought Start 11.
I think that's probably the better one at this point. So Explorer Patcher is free, but in order to update it to 24H2, I had to uninstall it because 24H2 is like, no, we don't like the fact that you are trying to customize Windows to look the way you want it to look. You can only use Windows the way we like you use it. I'm like, no.
I think there's an update for that too, Explorer Patcher.
Oh yeah, there is. It's just to install the update for Windows, you have to uninstall Explorer Patcher, update Windows, and then you can reinstall Explorer Patcher. It's so dumb.
Got it.
So dumb. So hey, last week, y'all may recall that we had nothing but troubles streaming as my internet kept dropping out. And this week I kicked off with troubles with my sound not working and static for everyone.
And I couldn't hear Matthew as soon as he came in StreamYard. So
yeah. And that's weird because Firefox got rid of my microphone selection as well. I don't understand why it did that. So it makes no sense to me. It doesn't matter entirely. It's working now. So Yeah, I'm curious. Next time it rains here, we may find out. Yeah, Shy, you weren't lying about audio this time. Um, one time, everyone was being honest about the audio. Thank you. Is my password peekaboo? No, it's ABC123. Oh, gotta change it now.
Ah, just go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, exactly.
There
And
you go.
that's usually how it works. I am curious if every time it rains now, if I'm gonna have internet issues. So I've had traditionally great internet just for years now. And they're bought out. My internet company was bought out by someone and still good internet. In fact, came down in price a little bit. So I was a little happy. Uh,
Ah,
but AT&T has come through and they've done upgrades to their network. And I'm wondering if some of the work they did damaged the lines that were already there, such that whenever it rains, there's just a little interference and maybe something doesn't work the way it's supposed to, you know? Oh. And
you may have to go to
Thomas,
AT&T.
never, never go back to dial-up before I go to AT&T.
Wow, dial-up.
Dial-up. That is how much I don't like using the word hate, loathe. That's how much I loathe AT&T as a company. Just they historically have done me dirty, and I will not be using them ever again.
Okay.
Oh
I
yes,
can't say I've ever had AT&T, so I
I
would not know what they're like.
AT&T is so AT&T in my neighborhood has traditionally been DSL. They were upgrading it to fiber though. Yes.
I'd like to get fiber.
What's the dial-up you speak of? Um, it's it's not before your time. You're older than me, aren't you, Gorilla?
I think he is, in fact.
Uh, anyway, I'm yeah. How long will Matt not use AT&T? So we actually use AT&T at our church because it's the only cell phone provider that works in our area. Like Verizon keeps saying they're gonna upgrade, but then they don't. It's like a dead spot. It's the weirdest thing ever. And yeah, this it's not a Earth Force. It's Star Wars. It's close. At least it's not my Deep Space Nine one.
At least you don't have. Well, you're not. Wait a minute. Are you reversed? Yeah, you are reversed. So it appeared backward for them. I
Oh,
think.
does it? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
does.
looks like it.
Yeah, but
It's like when
sideways for
you wear
me.
your Star Trek shirt, the communicator
Exactly.
badge is on the wrong side.
Yeah, DS9, that'd be blasphemy. I might have to do that. And yes,
Hmm.
I added a Daffy Duck over there. I was I was getting catched up. Wow, I was getting caught up on past episodes. We do these live streams and then I try to watch them afterwards, and I just haven't had time recently. Um, and so today I actually had some time and I had them playing in the background, and I just saw that one in the Grow Pose episode. I'm like, you know
Yes.
what? I should find that exact poster and start like putting some posters in the background or something.
There you go. And Texas says that's the Egyptian god of frustration, Garibaldi's patron deity.
uh, Matthew, what movie is Rats Straw? Oh,
That's
you're reading it backwards. Star Wars. Yes, Straw. Nice, nice. So one of the reasons I have not had much time recently is my oldest son got a 3D printer,
Ooh,
and
nice.
it's just an Ender 3, so the lowest tier, but he worked so hard to get this thing, and we helped him get to the finish line on having enough money for it. It has been a month and a half, I want to say, maybe just a month of just frustration for him. Bless his heart. He's been trying so hard, and we've been upgrading stuff, and he had to wait for that. And then he tried to do prints, and it wasn't working. And so this Saturday, I spent all day Saturday with him getting everything worked out, and it has, thankfully, had results. Let's see if I can get this to focus on here. There we go.
Oh, very nice.
So he has been having so much fun doing 3D prints on things like that. I'm so proud of him. Yeah, it's a lighthouse. He started off with just that little the tugboat thing benchy everyone does, and then he's been doing some. He calls them low poly. I don't know what it means. And I knew this would happen. He would get into this and it would work, and he'd be coming at me with all these phrases. I'd be like, I don't know what any of this means, son. And now I have become my father. These are things that I should know, things I could know, and things I just don't know because I no longer have time to learn them. It's weird to hit this age.
Thomas
But
says
he's doing
maybe you
great.
can 3D print a nomad. Maybe he can 3D print a nomad for you.
So Thomas, I almost took a photo of this today. Aiden
Uh-oh.
has for years been begging me to get to do something with the robot in the garage because I've had the pieces in the garage that yeah I still actually have. I have one piece and I keep it in front of me at all times as a retribution against me. It just sits there and it rebukes me for never doing anything with it. So I finally broke down and said, Aiden, knock yourself out, buddy. Go ahead and put it together. He has it in his room and he is loving it. He doesn't know what it is. All he knows is that it is a robot and it's from Star Trek. And he is so excited that I let him set up in his room. And so now I'm going to be double rebuked because he's going to be pressuring me now to finish this thing. And I've been thinking of lots of great ways I could actually do it. So, see what happens with that. Yeah, retro robot radio. So Michael, the salty trekker, he painstakingly. How many years ago was it?
Oh, I don't know. 3,
Three,
2, 3.
three. Painstakingly did a life-size print of Nomad. He put so much work into this. And he sent it to me because I was going to try and take it and turn and like do all the electrical stuff for it. And I designed all the electrical stuff for it, and I wrote the programming for it, and then life went crazy on me, and I never did anything with it. And so now we'll see what happens. Like I had designed it such that on certain conditions it would say a random line, a random Nomad line. Like I had actually extracted all the audio that Nomad says and would have it do a line. And now we're getting to the point where you could almost have AI create some custom lines for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that.
So by the time I finally get this done, it's going to be like, oh, all it does is pre-recorded lines. That's so lame. Why don't you have a Raspberry Pi in there and like have it do an AI voice generation where it can actually like be a smart home assistant? See, I can't talk about this. And I'm gonna create a scope creep on me, and it's never gonna get done. Yeah, am I the creator? No, Omni. Michael was the creator of Nomad.
Joel says print a 1-to-1 V'ger.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be his next thing here. But it can only be the original one. Like he can't do the full on V'ger. Just the original probe.
Voyager 6?
Wouldn't that be cool? Do a 3D print of Voyager 6? 1-to-1 ratio?
Cool. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really
huge.
Nice. It would.
I mean, relatively huge. Like all things considered, it wouldn't be that big for what we put up in space now. But for the time, how big was Voyager 6? Voyager 6.
The actual probe?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's quite big.
Let's see no way. The antenna itself was a 12-foot diameter antenna? Really? Huh. Wasn't that
Well,
Omni? I do
Omni's
this every
correct.
time. I do this every time. Yes. There is only Voyager 1 and 2.
Now,
I
of
don't know
course,
why
there's
I
a
keep
replica that NASA has, but
I don't know why this is like the second or third time that I've talked about Voyager 6 in relation to Voyager.
well, in the movie, yes, it was Voyager 6.
Is that why I keep getting mixed up?
Well, you're
Okay.
correct. In the movie, it is Voyager 6, but there was no real Voyager 6 probe.
Oh, thank goodness. That makes
You got something right and thought it was wrong.
I did. I did because I kept like I knew Voyager 1 and 2 were real things. And I guess I latched on to Voyager 6 from the movie and I just put them together. What was that clicking sound? It was me getting a text message from my wife. She said, "You are so awesome and handsome and amazing and I love you." Oh, that's so wonderful.
That is wonderful. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure everyone believes that's exactly what she wrote to me.
Really, Josh? I never knew that.
I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, my wife would say, "What?" Um,
Hi,
yeah,
Amy.
and I apologize. So the I may be a little bit loud tonight. I usually have some filters on here to limit the microphone. And I'm not sure if those are being bypassed right now. So I apologize if my compressor's not working tonight.
Okay. You sound normal to me. Normal
Oh,
for
good.
you, that is. Yeah,
Everything's
you know.
relative. So, how about we kick this off? Now, Jeff, I don't know if you saw that I made a prediction last week.
Yes, you did. Now, I've got two questions for you. Did you
Mm-hmm.
rewatch the episode?
I did not. I was trying to get
Okay.
there, but I didn't make it today.
Okay. Question two. You stated that your prediction was going to be about the planet that Babylon 5 orbits,
Yeah.
that we're going to go back there again. Do you want to revise that or do you want to stick with that?
Well, I did want to stick with it until you questioned me.
Okay.
It,
Well, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to alter it if you wanted to, because I know you were having trouble last week. You were having trouble following the plot and you haven't seen the episode again. I just wanted to give you the opportunity, if you wanted to make an alteration to your prediction.
so this episode is called "In the Shadow of Zahadum,"
Yep.
which I I thought that's the planet that Babylon 5 orbits.
Okay.
Do I have my planets backwards here?
You do, yes.
I do, huh? Okay. Okay.
Thomas says,
Um
wow, you said it correctly.
yeah, yeah.
Zaha Doom. Very
Well,
good.
I mean it's written so much like the Tolkien Khazad-dûm.
Ah, okay. So the
Mm,
planet that the station orbits is Epsilon 3.
okay. Yes, I want to amend this. I know we've heard Zahadum. I know we've heard it several times.
Actually, I don't think
Um,
we have. I don't think we
haven't
have.
Zahadum is where the Balrog lives. Exactly. Um, yep, Babylon 5 definitely orbits Mordor. One doesn't just land on Zahadum. Okay, yeah, Jakar did mention it. Yes. Um,
Did
and
he
he
mention it by name?
visited
I don't
it.
think he did. I don't
And
think he
he
did, Ami.
visited it. Okay. Okay. Zahadum.
Okay.
It's in his book. It is the planet
Oh,
that
you're right. Okay.
It's the
I
planet
was
that
getting mixed.
at the beginning of season 2 he tried to get someone to go to, and they were instantly destroyed as they came out of hyperspace. And that's when Londo first really started to side with the shadow spiders. Uh, yeah, and Josh is saying that too. The Narn cruiser was destroyed over Zahadum. So, in the shadow of Zahadum, uh, this is the shadow spider planet. Then, so my prediction is that if this is in the shadow of Zahadum, if I was to stick with what I was saying earlier, it would be that we're going to revisit the planet. But I think that'd be a too literal interpretation of the title. I think that we're going to
Okay.
be talking about the shadow of influence that Zahadum is casting over this sector. I feel like I'm coming in just a little bit hot there. I'm going to turn that down. Jeff, you probably can't hear the difference, but I think on the stream I'm coming in a lot louder than you. So I'm going to change that just a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm
I think
checking.
we're. Go ahead.
I'm checking transcripts just to see if it was mentioned by name.
I could have sworn it. If it wasn't, I've at least seen it in the chat. Yeah, Jeff is talking. Yes, Tom is. Uh, so yeah, I think this episode is going to be dealing with the influence that the shadow spiders are sending out across our galaxy, which means this would be a great episode for
Ah,
Discount Rod Sterling to show up in.
okay. And yes, it
Um,
was mentioned. I'm mistaken. It was mentioned in episode 5, The Long Dark, where they find the ship before they had FTL ships, and a creature got on board of it. It was the
oh,
creepy one.
the demon creature.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, the one with Reg Barkley,
yeah.
aka Murdoch.
Yes.
News to me. That shouldn't be news to me. Honestly, you guys can't take me anywhere.
See,
Okay,
I'm
so
trying to be fair to Matthew. You know, I gave him a chance to revise his prediction.
I appreciate that very much. And then
You're
Troy
welcome.
has chocolate. Yes. Any episode with Troy and Reg. In fact, you know what? Some might speculate that Troy stress eats around Reg Barkley for some reason. Turns to a comfort food of chocolate. Something to think about.
And you have 2 new articles of impeachment, by the way.
What are they?
Article 878, Patrick put this in, lying about Amy's text message on stream right before Christmas. And Article 879 called the planet Epsilon 9 Zahadum.
I did both those things. I freely admit it. Yep. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Thanks for.
So
Yep.
the TV guide listing that I put up last week is Shakar discovers a religious text warning the ancient enemy will openly strike all races when a rare eclipse takes place involving their homeworld, an event about to happen. Discovering he had mischaracterized Earth cats to Londo, Veer adopts one named Spot to help calm his nervous behavior. Pet store owner, played by Brent Spiner.
Nice. Uh, oh, that jogged something in my head. It's gone. We'll see if I can't get it to come back. Maybe if I read that during the credits or something. So let's go ahead and kick this off here, everyone. If you are new here, let me give you a quick, hopefully 2-minute spiel. The way this works, I got some clips for you down below. There is no audio. Oh, please let there be no audio. Let me know, everyone, if there's audio today, okay? We
Fingers
might
crossed,
be pausing things.
toes crossed. I'm not going to cross my eyes, though.
Yeah. So please let me know if there's audio. There should not be any audio because I try and play nice here, And so far, the owners of Babylon 5 have had zero issues with me doing this. Uh, so there are clips, and it's once every 7 to 9 seconds, a clip will show up on the screen so that you have a reference for hopefully what we're talking about at that moment. If you want to see the full episode, you can join us in the screening room, which need link. There we go. Oh, and Jeff, thank you. Beat me to it. I'm going to pin yours. There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah, going crazy today. Uh, so you can join us in the screening room. Thanks for the reminder, Melphasis. And that is live only during this time right now. This just syncs up all of our episode watch times so that we're seeing things at roughly the same time and we're not all having to awkwardly hit play buttons, synchronize, stuff like that. We reserve that for people here in the future. If you're here in the future, welcome. Glad you're here. Sorry you missed the stream, but unfortunately you can't go to the streaming link. That won't work for you. You need to go and get your own copy. You can buy on Amazon. You can watch them for free streaming on Amazon without ads, I'm pretty sure. You can watch
Amazon,
them.
yeah, Prime.
Yeah, yep. If you have Prime, you can watch them for free with ads on Tubi TV, or, and I say this every time, but it's still the truth. My favorite option: just go out and buy it. Buy a physical copy of this. You get all 5 seasons. Ranges from like 60 to $90. I think consistently it's in the $70 range, and that's definitely a very good price point in my opinion for
Right now,
5 seasons.
Right now it's $79.99 on Amazon.
And we froze up hard there for a second. Not sure what that was about. 9 seasons? No, did I say 9? Five seasons. 5 seasons.
I heard 5, but maybe I just imagined it. I don't know.
You never know what I'm gonna say. I'm unpredictable like that. Bless their hearts. My I'm not. No, I'm not going down a rabbit trail. I am going to hit this play button. So if you're here in the future, queue up your copy of Babylon 5. I'll give you a quick 3 countdown, and then we are all going to hit our play buttons and be largely synchronized. So here we go, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Hit that play button, everyone. And please let me know if you can hear this so I can pause it immediately and fix this. Okay, I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Okay, so Zach, who we've seen several times so far in the series, he's talking about how they're bringing the refugees, and this was a plot point that was brought up in the Honor episode, All Things Honor, or it wasn't Code of Honor, different series. Something about honor. Hey, Tokyo, glad you're able to join us for a minute. But they set up a thing with Jakar.
It's there all the honor lies.
There we are. There all the honor lies.
This is one of my favorite scenes in the entire series.
So Discount Rod Sterling, he wants to know how his war is going, how Lanier's war is going. And Lanier goes, why do you ask me questions that you already know the answer? Veer. Sorry, Lanier is Mbari. The Will Robinson.
One of my favorite scenes of all the entire series.
And interestingly, Discount Rod Sterling is wearing a different outfit, I want to say. And so Sterling is saying that he sent for Malari, and yet you're here and he's not. So what difference does it make? And so Veer is saying how what he wants to see. He says what he wants to see more than anything is for Rod Sterling's head to be put on a pike. He said, "I want to live just long enough to see your head put on a pike for to serve as a warning for the next 10 generations that sometimes favors come with too high of a price." And he waves goodbye at him, which was part of the speech that he gave to him. And so, yeah, and Texas saying essentially the devil offered to grant him a wish, and he wished for the devil to be destroyed. So going back to what I was saying, the refugees coming aboard is something they worked out back in There All the Honor Lies, where Jakar was really hoping for a vocal public support of the Earth forces or the Mbari forces to support the Narn. And instead, they said the most we can do is give you leftover food and medical supplies in secret. And in return, as Mbari take out the food, the empty cruisers will bring back refugees, Narn refugees. And so we're starting to see kind of those Narn refugees trickle into the station.
I'll just trickle overwhelmingly coming aboard, large numbers. They can't handle them all.
So what was this ship that Sheridan is
It's
talking
the
about?
it's the Icarus, the ship that his wife was on when she was killed 3 years ago.
Oh, and Rod
Ah,
Sterling, he was aboard the Icarus. Interesting.
they were going out to explore an ancient ruin on a planet on the rim.
Okay. And then I wanted to look at the uh the episode guide you put in last week here. Apparently we've been chatting a lot in the Babylon 5 group. Here we go. Cars. I don't know, it was there and then it's gone, man. That happens sometimes.
The TV guide listing I put up.
No. When you're reading it out loud, it made me think of something I saw in an episode today,
Oh,
and now it's just gone.
was it about cats?
It wasn't.
Okay.
Um, I watched several of them today. I watched everything from GoPros on to last week's. I didn't get through last week's in the background there today. Which is sad because I really wanted to watch And Now for a Word. No, I didn't watch There All the Honor Lies either. I got the episode wrong that Jakar has that amazing acting scene in.
Well, there all the honor lies was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I got the name wrong. To no one's surprise.
Um,
Acts of Sacrifice. That's what I was thinking of.
hey, it's Talia. We don't see much of her.
I want to say the last time we saw Talia was when she decided not to really be on the side of Psycor anymore. And that's when at the end of it she took off the Psycor emblem and she took the gloves off.
She was in There All the Honor Lies. She briefly bumps into Veer, who's intoxicated at the time.
Okay. So
She didn't have a large role in that one, but
I missed that, or I hadn't gotten back to that one yet, so that's why I'm not remembering it.
Okay.
Okay, so this guy is wanting her to do a puff piece or create a favorable environment for some representatives of his. Is that what he was trying to get her to do?
Well, he's from the Ministry of Peace, and they're promoting peace amongst the humans so that they know peace, then there can be peace maybe with the other races. And he's going to have a meeting on the station, and he wanted her to attend.
Hmm.
At least that's what he claims they're doing.
Well, I mean, surely you would never expect anything untoward from an organization known as the
No,
Ministry of Peace.
no. Welcome, LDG.
Hey, yeah, Josh, a new group for me to keep track of.
So we have Dr. Franklin, who's been working for 36 hours straight. Trying to keep up with all the Narn people come on board that need medical attention.
Yeah, Zach Allen, he's been in a lot of these episodes as of late.
Yes, he has. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he
I'm
thought was going to happen there.
I'm sorry. The CGI looks good.
It does. Nice shoes.
Does he have tea? Good tea? Good tea. Nice shoes.
Now, I'm kind of surprised that Sheridan is coming out so aggressive when he just wants a
Well,
simple question answered. Like I don't know. It would certainly be strange to find a survivor from a ship that blew up. Oh, that. And so Sterling is saying that yes, he was aboard the Icarus. He doesn't remember what happened. He doesn't know how he survived. It says a passing ship found him. He was in an EVA suit. It's a fairly plausible story. Yeah, Sheridan doesn't believe him. You're a liar. You see, everything up until then was pretty believable. Just that uh, he doesn't remember what happened. He was disoriented after he was rescued, and then his the whole in his story he tries to say, well, I sent a message to Earth Central when I came to my senses, but I guess you never got they never got it. Yes, retro. So I do know it's Rod Serling. However, I messed up on how I said it uh, for
Imagine
several
that.
times. Yeah, weird, weird. And once I mess up
Never
on a
get
name,
names wrong.
I stick with it just to poke fun at my own inability to remember names and get them right consistently. There's going to be several people I misname in this show.
It's part of your charm.
Something like that. Thomas might have a different word for it. And Sheridan is saying that I don't care, I you can sit here for the next hour, the next day, the next year, the next 500 years. You're going to stay here until I find out what happened and where my wife is. And so Franklin at least did get some good sleep and is finally getting some food into his system. And I
One
like how oh, go ahead.
one detail you might have missed is Franklin was using stims or stimulants to keep awake.
I did miss that, but the other doctor was using that a couple weeks back. The one who was
Yes.
on the run,
Yes, he
Jacobs.
was. Hey, you got a name right.
I saw it today. Oh, that's interesting. The guy who plays Modin was Modin. It was Morden.
Mr. Morden, Rod Sterling.
Retro is saying that he was in the pilot episode as an ops officer.
He was not the same character.
So I enjoy how they've had a couple Franklin and Ivanova moments this season, kind of building up their friendship. But Franklin was asking Ivanova if she believes in God, and she gives a very non-committal response that, well, she was raised Jewish and she had her bat mitzvah, and he goes, well, I didn't ask how you spent your adolescence. I asked, do you believe in God, which is an incredibly pointed and important question. And if someone's asking you that, that's not a time just to blow them off. But Ivanova just kind of gives a wry smile. And she wants to know what does that have to do with this? Why do you want to know? And Franklin is talking about how when a patient starts to slip away and his eyes grip hold of you, and then just at that last moment, he says it's as if there's something else, and that look on their face, there's nothing in that last moment. There's nothing else like it. And he says you can't help but meet their gaze, and just for an instant, you see God perfected in their eyes. And Omni's saying, yeah, Franklin is a soul hunter. Which, so I mean, it sounds like Franklin was having a very spiritual moment there, but he ends it with saying, "I just don't see how we can keep believing in them when they've stopped believing in us." Kind of implying that the gods of the different species clearly don't believe in us if they are allowing this sort of suffering to happen. And Sheridan really quizzing him. He wants to know, is a 5-day jump. So what was the name of the doctor? What was the name of the captain? What was the idea of the ship? What happened? Give me any information. I feel like this guy's about to try and sell me a timeshare or a pyramid scheme. And so we're being introduced to a group. One might call it a paramilitary group, based on just history here. Um, oh yeah, yeah, it's a paramilitary group here. He's talking about the members of this night watch are going to be his early warning system, and they'll be paid 50 credits a week. And he just wants people to be thinking about the be keeping an eye out on the way people are thinking about one another, the way they're treating one another. And he's saying that those who are against peace undermine the public good. And it's just because they're dejected and unhappy, so they're lashing out, which uh, could certainly be a plot point from a modern episode right now. Oh, and I missed a donation. I think have to fix that as well. But Rod Sterling tipped $1. Uh,
Oh no.
Imagine, if you will, you are having a nice walk in a park in Fort Worth when you hear a voice call out on your left. You see a figure moving fast towards you. All you can tell is the figure wearing very tight clothing. You have just entered the Twilight Zone. And so Garibaldi's having to call out Sheridan right now. He has had Sterling in here for 10 hours and has yet to charge him with anything. And uh, Garibaldi's pointing out that as head of security, he's ultimately the one responsible, and he can't let Sheridan keep doing this. Uh, And so Sheridan's like, come on, you can tell that he's lying. And Garibaldi says, well, of course he is. Half the people in this station are, but you can't arrest him for it. He hasn't he hasn't broken any law yet. So cut him loose. Let me follow him around and catch him breaking the law. Yeah, Thomas, the Patriot Act must not be active anymore. And and Sheridan, he's ready to charge Garibaldi with insubordination. And Garibaldi doesn't back down. He says, "Is that where you want to go? If this is what you do, you better be ready to pull that trigger if you're gonna lock me up in the next cell." And he's pushing back and playing tough, but I don't think he was really. No, I'm wrong. He's calling him out. He's saying you have to stop this. I can't be here. He's like, I'm sorry. This is your only lead on your dead wife. I'm sorry, but I can't be here while you're doing this. Either it stops or I resign as chief of security. And so he's turning in his badge, his BCom,
His link.
his link, and his gun. Josh, you are about to enter another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. You've entered Matthew's mind.
Scary.
It's spacious, it's desolate, it's scary. And so Zach is getting a promotion that I don't think he wants.
Well, Sheridan's framing it as temporary.
Zach is doing a very good job of being nervous and uncomfortable.
So, last episode, we got Office of Public Information. We also got Ministry for Public Morale. Now we got the Ministry of Peace and the Night Watch.
A lot of new oversight agencies being created right now.
Yes.
So Veer has come asking for Mr. Morden's immediate release. And Veer, a little bit of a detective sleuth here. He very rationally points out how he has come to guess correctly that Mr. Morden must be in the custody of Sheridan. Hey, Kay Roberts, how you doing? And so Veer is basically extending diplomatic immunity. Well, I say Veer. Mondo is extending diplomatic immunity to Rod Sterling, and he's saying diplomatic immunity. Sheridan is very curious why the Centauri people would be so keen on supporting Discount Sterling. But he says more importantly, however, diplomatic immunity can only be extended when someone's been charged with a crime, and Mr. Morden has not been charged with a crime yet. And Ivanova is now calling Sheridan out. Everyone is calling Sheridan out, and he is so blinded by his grief. I mean, understandably, I feel like he's acting very humanly at this moment.
Definitely
But he's so
is.
blinded that he's sacrificing his relationship with Garibaldi. Now with Ivanova, he's ready to create diplomatic issues. Yeah, like Captain Ahab.
I agree, Omni. A Boxleitner really is good here. He does look like a mess. Very good acting.
Now, I mean, he's not thinking straight right now. If he was thinking straight, he would have listened to Garibaldi and let Morden go, because that would have created a situation where they could have followed him and could have found something to charge him with. Uh, but he's so concerned about losing this opportunity that he's just not thinking straight at all. And so Talia's been brought in now. He wants to scan Morden's mind, but honestly, I don't. I get the feeling that his mind would be unscannable. I think that something with his dealings with these shadow spider creature things has given him unnatural boosts, we might say.
Plausible. I agree, Josh. Let's wait and see how the scene plays out.
And what Josh is talking about, what they just mentioned here, is that um, Sheridan has specifically arranged things for Morden and her to pass one another in the hall. And sure enough, as Talia looks in his mind, she can't see him. It's like a shadows over him, but she can vaguely see some outlines of spatter like creatures.
Certainly looked that way.
Yeah, she's saying it was like looking into a bottomless well. It was cold, so cold. And for just a second, she thought she could see a shape. She doesn't know, but I'm positive the word she was looking for was shadow spider. Yeah, he deserved that.
They did that scene twice, and Boxleitner did not want to do it a third time because she really hit him good both times. They used the first take, by the way.
And yes, Retro was mentioning that the show writers were not being subtle about ripping off 1984. But honestly,
No.
you know, 1984 was such a well written warning against a government without limits that if anyone touches on the same sort of notion and the steps one would take to have that, uh, you're gonna be cribbing off 1984. Like it's impossible not to. Oh, and now Kosh and Dolores are getting involved in this.
Oh, we're back to Dolores.
So she's warning him that discount Sterling has to be immediately released, and if he doesn't, then this whole station is in immediate danger. And she warns him that fine, if you have to know this, we will tell you the secret behind him. But once you know what we know, then uh, you will never sleep well again. It's what they've known for the past 3 years. Sorry, I'm going to be listening to this.
This is important.
And Michael's so shaken by just the intro to the story that he calls her the wrong name for some reason. He calls her Lynn. I don't know.
Michael?
Michael?
John.
John?
John. John Sheridan.
And so she's talking about the the shadows. The last time they've been fighting these ancients for millions of years, and 10,000 years ago was the last open battle,
Great War.
and 1,000 years ago they returned back to their seat of power. Um, but the Embari and the few remaining first ones were able to fight back. And And there's only one first one left that hasn't passed beyond the veil, I think is what you just said.
Hmm.
And it's Kosh. Kosh is the last remaining first one. And so the Vorlons were the last remaining guardians centuries ago. And so now we're flashing back to when she was still building up her cocoon machine. And Josh is saying, no, the Vorlons are one of the last first ones. So not so not Kosh specifically, but just the entire Vorlon race.
Yes, the whole race.
Okay.
The dialogue was a little confusing.
And so we're finding out that Icarus, the ship his wife was on, was sent to investigate the ruins of an ancient race, which it was Khazad-dûm. Zahadum. But they dig too greedily. They unearthed something that should not have been unearthed. And anyone with trichophobia might be disturbed at this moment.
A little bit.
And so uh, she's she's saying that the shadow spider creatures, they killed everyone except those who would submit to them and serve them. And so she's wanting him to release Morden because the shadow spiders don't know how much they know. And the only reason they won last time was because they tried to move quickly, and they're not making that mistake right now. And and so she's saying we don't have the first ones to help us this time. We're alone. We need more time to prepare. And Morden is never alone. And so she's reminding him that at one point he told Jakar that he had to choose between revenge and the good of his own people. And now he must make the same choice. Interesting. So, from what I'm gathering, Retro, the reason they wouldn't want the shadows to move too quickly right now is because they don't have the helps of all the first ones, and it was only
That's,
the combo of those two factors. The shadows moved too quickly, and they had the help of the first ones.
and they're not ready yet to fight the shadows this time.
And a while back, someone was mentioning that it wasn't just 1984 that they were referencing here. The Night Watch, a rise of authoritism, came from history. Apparently, JMS had personal connections to that. Like his dad was a Nazi sympathizer. Is that accurate?
I've not heard that one before.
Which city is he referencing? Oh, if this is the one I'm thinking of, this is actually a le-
Coventry?
an event, a legit event that happened that they had broken Enigma. I want to say,
Enigma, yeah. And it was Coventry.
yeah, and one of the cities or one of the codes they broke saw that there was going to be an attack on a city, and they had an option. They could either send troops and save the city and reveal that they had broken the code, or they could let the people there die for a greater victory.
That's what they did.
And that's exactly what they did. And it's a hard it's a hard call. And yeah, K. Roberts, censorship squads throughout history repeatedly evolve into brute squads. I mean, anytime you have an organization or government telling you to, if you see something, say something, it's usually not going to be a great thing that they're trying to get you to do.
So they just heard something coming from the cell.
And so they're getting him to adjust the frequencies, and he saw the shadow spiders. They said, "What did you see?" He goes, "Nothing. Shadows." And so that was it. That was the decision moment. Uh, he says, "That's it. Cut him loose. Tell him it was all a mistake, and he can go." Once he saw the creatures himself, he knew that he had to uh, not
That's
reveal what
creepy.
he knew.
That's creepy.
The smile into the camera,
Hmm.
like he knew.
Did he?
He's certainly smiling like he knew before Zach ever got there.
He did. Omni, I think Sheridan pressed a button to zoom in.
So Sheridan comes and asks Garibaldi to come back, and he says, "You're right. I was wrong. I should have listened to you." And Garibaldi says, "Next time you'll listen to me?" He goes, "There won't be a next time." Oh, and look, Zach is sporting the the brown
I,
shirt.
Night Watch.
And so Zach is saying, "Why not? You know, if Earth wants to throw in its money, give me 50 extra credits a week to do what I'm already doing, sure." So Sheridan has come to Kosh, and he said, "I let him go, but there's a price tag, uh, because you've been trying to teach me so that we can understand one another, but I don't want that anymore. I want you to teach me how I can fight them, how I can beat them, how he can stop them. And Kosh warns him that if you go to Zahadum, you will die. And so Sheridan says, then I'll die. But if I die, then I won't go down easily, and I won't go down alone. Is Jameis ripping off Judas? I don't get that impression, Retro. Like Judas specifically went out to betray Jesus. Um, I I don't feel like Zach is going out to specifically betray Garibaldi.
No, I don't get that either.
Like at this point, he's just like, who cares? It's free money. Which
Yeah, he feels like
honestly,
he's not doing anything extra. So,
yeah,
and my camera lost its settings.
weird.
Yeah.
And honestly, I do like the way they're introducing this, because this is exactly the way you get people into this sort of mentality. It's like, oh hey, here's, just do what you're already doing. It's no big deal. You know, um, we'll pay you a little bit extra. All you don't have to do anything. Just look. If you see someone, oh, just talk to them a little bit. Set them straight, and then you increase the money they give you, and then you start to say, hey, maybe you do this extra step. You do this extra step, and then you get them so bought into the mentality where it's not just, hey, I'm trying to be helpful, but now it's become, hey, um, I have authority over you, and for you not to do what I'm telling you is in conflict to my authority. Like, you get them addicted to the authority, and anyone who questions that becomes a threat to their authority, and they desire so much to keep it that they start to turn people in willingly that they wouldn't have done before. They would have just talked to people in the past, and now they're willing to send these people off to camps and stuff so that they could hold on to that authority that they become addicted to. Because they bought into the party line. I mean, we've seen this so recently in history. It wasn't, people didn't get paid to do it. We just got to buy into this idea that it was for the good of the greater people. Back during COVID, like, this didn't happen too bad in the States, but in Australia, you set up concentration camps, for crying out loud.
Oh, unbelievable.
It was such a crazy history, and I remember, um, I think it was Mayor Whitman up in Michigan, who set up like see something, say something lines. Like, they'd have people calling in and reporting. No, it was Tim Waltz, wasn't it?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I want to say Tim Waltz had set it up too. I frankly probably lots of people did. Uh, yeah, Governor, was it Whitmer up in Michigan? I want to say it was Waltz. Positive is saying, yeah, they literally set up lines to report people, uh, and you get them buy into this idea that you're being threatened. And the brown shirts, they did this excellently, where they got people to buy into the notion that a specific group of people, the Jews, were a clear and present danger to them. And once you convince someone that someone else is a clear and present danger to you, you become justified in responding with violence against that person. Because if they are a clear and present danger to you, you are justified to defend yourself. And this is the mentality you get people to buy into. And this is honestly why I think we see a lot of violence on the rise these days. We have convinced people that it is a clear and present danger to say words, that words equal violence. And if words are violence, then you are justified in using violence as violence. Like, these are equivalent. It's it's stuff I don't agree with. But
That's
it's stuff
absolutely
that it,
nuts.
yeah. Oh, gorillas! Your governor did that. Was it Whitner? Whitner. Ha! Anyone surprised I got the name slightly wrong?
Well, you know.
um, say I make it clear. I'm a bit of a libertarian in these matters. So the more freedom we give people, the better I think everything is. Uh, I make no secrets about that. I try not to get political, but I do think there are certainly there's some things you just gotta be like, hey, that's nuts. And anytime you convince people that it's okay to be violent, that's nuts.
Thomas, I don't think Matthew is telling you to do that.
No, no, no. I mean, at the very least, you got to warn them that you're on their left before you commit violence. Yeah, it'd be more of a shock if I got the name right. Honestly, I'm impressed that I got the name that close. Uh,
You
I've
did get it
been,
amazingly close.
yeah. Speaking of crazy things, so I'm going to completely rabbit trail here to transition away from this, and then I want to talk about the episode. Um, I mean, technically, what I've been saying is has been closely related to the episode, but let me pull us back here. Um, I saw the craziest car crash today. Like I came up just after it. Someone had run the red light, and so they're coming this way, and someone hit them, T-boned them, and knocked them onto their side. And so you got the car
Wow.
on its side here. You had the car that hit them over here. So I saw the undercarriage of the car. This car is leaking gasoline now.
Ooh,
Um, and,
it's
and so
not good.
I'm at the red light. Like I missed seeing the actual incident. I came up like moments after it happened. Um, and so I'm at the red light. I'm first in the line. I'm like, this, wow, I can't believe that just happened. So the light turns green. Like there's already people, they're getting them out of the cars. They're helping. I'm like, I don't need to be stopping and getting involved in this. So I'm carefully, slowly going through the intersection. And a guy runs a red light right in front of me.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, how dumb do you have to be? There's literally a car on its side.
Ugh.
And you run a red light? Like, you think that's the right time to do this? Crazy
Insane.
stuff. Crazy stuff. Less crazy stuff, unless you want to say crazy good. Jeff, talk about this episode, man.
This was a great episode, I think, because you pull in so much from the past and you also add new things. So we learn more about the Vorlons, their first ones. We hear Zaha Doom again, and we get, and this is where my confusion was coming in. I wasn't sure we had heard the name before, but we had, but we get the official notification now, or officially named as the home planet of the Shadows
Mm-hmm.
in this episode. So that's the first time we hear that. The question that Delenn or Dolores had Lanier ask Kosh and Chrysalis, we finally hear that question. Have
Are
the
the
shadows
dark
returned?
ones? Yeah.
We learn more about Sheridan's wife, what happened to her. We get more about the Earth Force. We hear about um, the Ministry of Peace and the Night Watch. So we got new elements there. We hear about first ones. The Vorlons are the last of the first ones that are around, and that the Shadows are even older than the Vorlons or any of the other first ones.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a lot of background information here, get a lot of gaps filled in, and it's just a really great episode. And it centers on Mr. Morden, Rod Sterling, Chief Rod Sterling. So we pull him into this too, and there's a relationship there with Anna Sheridan, and so we get a lot of things that are just tying together really nice here. And that's one of the things that JMS does well. He doesn't keep you hanging on these story threads. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
answer them. He's not going to keep you guessing for seasons on end what's going on. So we're getting a lot of answers right here.
Hmm.
So
And,
that's why I like this episode a lot, because you're starting to get these answers, but you're also getting new things getting thrown into it as well.
one thing I gotta listen to the scene again. I don't think they said this, um, but it would almost be worse if his wife was alive at this point, because
We don't know that. She
well,
could be.
she could be. But so the way they were talking about it, where they killed everyone. So I mean, this is obviously Dylan's speculation that, but I feel like she has precedence, and so we can take this as 99% true that the shadow spiders will kill everyone who doesn't submit to them. And
That's what she said. Yes.
this seems kind of like a very binding agreement. Yeah, who? Excuse me, Dolores. Um, it seems like a very binding agreement where when you submit to them. So I do think that I saw someone mentioning that there's fan speculation about this, about is Morden a zombie? Is he possessed? Whatever. I don't
A
think
lot of
he's a
debate about
zombie.
that.
I think that what we see is that um, this is kind of like a Faustian deal with the devil. So rather than being possessed, I'd say that he's made a deal that has caused his way of thinking to line up fully with the shadow creatures. So there's a difference. So with possession, you are taken over, and there's nothing you can do except what the demon makes you do. But in submitting to it by making a deal with it, um, it's not that you're possessed per se. It's that you get dyed in the wool, and so it's not that they make you do things. It's that you are now in full agreement with doing those things. And that's where I see him being now.
Thomas
Is
says he
it?
doesn't act like a zombie,
Yeah.
and I
I
agree with
don't.
him.
I agree. I think instead that I wouldn't go so far as to say brainwashing, but I do feel like he is someone who was probably opportunistic before he met the spider people, and he was willing to betray the humans. And when he saw all that he gained by being their servant, he has fully embraced their rule. It's how I'm
But
kind of looking at him.
I'm wondering what he's gaining other than his life. Obviously, I mean, Dolores said that they killed everyone that wouldn't go along with them.
Hmm.
So I wonder if he's getting anything else out of the deal.
I assume he is. I get a feeling he's getting power. Um,
He certainly seems like he does or is.
like it seems like he has current power and not just the promise of future power. It seems like he has some kind of enhanced mental abilities. Yeah, he's getting a sweet deal for a sci-fi anthology series. Like he
Well,
does.
he does communicate with shadows.
Yeah.
We've seen him kind of turn and listen to something we can't hear.
Lifetime of Stroop waffles. Yeah, I mean the exact details were not given, um, but we have seen that he was able to resist. It seems Talia's probing. I say that, but it could
Somewhat,
just be that the spiders were there and they interfered.
but she actually saw them just
True.
for a brief second. And speaking of that scene, when she walked by him, he turned like he was dark. It was in a really dark
Hmm.
shadow. And if you recall back when he went to see Dolores and asked her what did she want, she saw him turn dark in a shadowy type effect.
That's right.
So is she telepathic?
I wouldn't put it past them, or at least in tune with such spirituality.
And Ami is right. She also got that triangle on her forehead.
Oh yeah. Yeah, does Morden have powers, or is it the devil on his shoulder? That's what I was wondering in the hallway there. I get the feeling that he does have some kind of power. Obviously, I would say that it is borrowed power, not power of his own ability, but given to him.
Now, when Kosh confronted Morden,
Hmm.
and
In the
his
hallway.
encounter suit was damaged, JMS claims that the weapon fire, whatever, did not come from Morden himself.
Oh, but and then we saw
So maybe
today
he
that
doesn't.
this he's never alone.
He's never alone. Now, I'm kind of guessing because those shadows are pretty big. If they're going to be with him, they have to be maybe phasing out, walking right through people and objects, because
Which
you would think that people would be bumping into them.
so honestly, I actually had that thought about Kosh today. In the episode with Dr. Jacobs, when you're looking at Kosh's ship, we see him come out of this alcove, but it's
Hmm.
this brightly lit alcove. It's one of these things where it's like, where was he hiding? Because obviously people would have seen it. And then he kind of slips back in the alcove. And so I was looking at that and going, oh, you know what would be neat? It'd be neat if he was like phasing through the wall. If he had that ability, just kind of.
I'd never thought about that. That's a possibility.
But I do get the feeling, at the very least, the shadows creatures are slightly out of phase with our
Oh,
reality.
we've seen their ships kind of phase in and out too.
It's true. I had assumed that was cloaking, but I think phasing makes more sense from what we saw in today's episode.
Retro Robot Radio says shadows can phase into hyperspace. So there you go.
Gosh, what else in this episode? Not Lanier's, Veer's,
Veer. Oh,
his
great scene.
response to Morden. Perfect. Perfect. I I love Veer being the little little good angel, so to speak, on Lando's
One of
shoulder.
one of the top scenes in this whole series was in this episode, right at the start.
I mean,
Veer
literally,
had it
Veer is the good shoulder angel, and Morden is the bad shoulder angel uh,
for
for
Londo.
Londo. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree completely.
Also,
Uh, Josh says, Professor, I've always thought the shadows, when they are invisible, they cloak was like the cloaking from the Pegasus
hmm,
from Star Trek. Yeah, and that was kind of a phasing.
hmm
So, yeah, you're right, Josh. I think you're right.
uh, so thanks to you letting me redo my guess for this episode. Um, did I
Hey, I
nail
was trying to
it?
be fair. I think you did pretty much.
I I
I'm
I,
just
uh,
going,
I assumed we'd have Rod Sterling in it. Focus on him,
you
and
did.
I said we wouldn't go to the planet. So I was slightly wrong on that. We had a flashback where they went to the planet,
They kind of went to the planet
but I said
three
instead we'd
years
be
three
seeing
years ago.
the shadow they cast out on on the galaxy at large. Okay, maybe we didn't see that specifically per se, but we kind of see how they're coming back. So I'm gonna give me a pretty high score on this one.
I think you did pretty well. A couple other things to point out from first season episode Infection, one with our Karian war machine.
Okay, yep. Oh, Doctor's old mentor came by.
Yes, that was 1,000 years ago that was
Oh,
created, and that's when the last war was with the shadows. Was 1,000 years ago. Is there a connection?
hmm.
It was built to fend off invasions.
It was.
Invasions
And it was.
of what?
It was also built specifically for to protect the pure among them.
That's true too.
So I kind of I kind of get the feeling not that it would have been built specifically to repel the shadow spiders, but I could see them that being one of the influence they did. This as the universe got more chaotic, which helps them out. I could see them pushing like a more than like individual pushing them toward such development, which would be very
Possibility.
fitting that the very thing they thought they wanted was the thing that wiped them out.
So there's also a parallel here when Dolores starts talking to Sheridan about the first ones.
Hmm.
She says, there are things in the universe billions of years older than our races. They are vast, timeless. If you go back to the first season episode, Mind War,
Yes.
Jakar was talking about the walkers of Sigma 957. He says there are beings in the universe billions of years older than either of our races. Once, long ago, they walked amongst the stars like giants, vast and timeless. There are parallels there, some of the same phrases used. And this also kind of echoes Dolores's discussion with the Grey Council in Babylon Squared from the first season. She's talking about humans, and she says they carry within them the capacity to walk amongst the stars like giants. So you're getting
Hmm.
some parallels here. And that raises the question, what are the walkers of Sigma 957, which we haven't seen since that episode? If there's a
Oh
parallel
yeah.
here,
Hmm. Trying to remember that. So, first of all, Grillos was
okay,
saying Delin said 10,000 years ago.
okay,
He
there,
calls you Jed.
and then corrects himself. He says Jeff. So there were two wars she described. The
Yeah.
last great war 10,000 years ago was between the shadows and the first ones. There was another war 1,000 years ago
Hmm.
between the Minbari, the Vorlons, which were the last first ones left, and the shadows.
And she
So
describes
she
the
talks about two
Vorlons. She describes the Vorlons as the last of the first ones who hadn't passed beyond the veil, I think.
the veil or the rim.
Yeah, and so I got the feeling that it's not that these species died out, but they either left the galaxy or that they ascended. It's kind of like or transcended our mortal plane of existence was how I felt like she was explaining that.
So
Um,
is JMS
so,
setting something up here? First ones, Vorlons, Shadows, Walkers of Sigma 957.
I mean, yes.
His language is very, very similar. The phrasing is similar. And
uh,
humans, she's including in another episode, humans kind of in the same way that they could become this way.
um, I'm trying to remember on that episode, the Mind War. I want to say that instead of it being one of the shadow ships like we saw later on when um, Rod Sterling got the crown or the eye,
The eye,
when he got that for Londo, we
sign.
thought a very similar ship, except that ship was literally like a shadow.
And we've seen those ships again a few times since
Mhm.
then.
The ship we saw in Mind War was very much not a shadow. It was like it was light. I want to say it had like kind of a bluish, lightningish kind of effect. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's been a long time since I saw that once, um, and so it definitely gave me a feeling of it being a different race.
Okay.
And it gave me also a feeling of the problems they caused um, Sinclair's girlfriend seemed to
Catherine
be,
Sakai.
yeah, it seemed to be an accident. Like it didn't seem like a deliberate act of aggression against them. More so of just them being there at all caused so much overpower to the Catherine ship that they're in distress.
Well, Jakar was describing it like the ant.
Hmm.
He picks up the ant and puts it back down. And the ant asks another ant, "What was that?"
Yeah.
They have no comprehension of what just happened. Same idea there. I mean, the walkers of Sigma 957, they're so far in advance of humans that the humans can't comprehend them, and the walkers they just you know they're just on another level. They don't care.
Yeah. But basically like a four-dimensional being. You put it in a prison, and what's a prison to a four-dimensional being? It simply goes to a point where there was no prison,
Hmm.
gets out of it, and comes right back to where it is right now. And as far as you're concerned, somehow it magically transported through the bars.
Exactly.
Uh, so yeah, fascinating stuff. Gosh, what else happened in this episode? Um, Excellent acting from Sinclair, Sheridan.
Oh. Yes.
Just his descent into obsession.
Boxleitner had his best acting episode so far, by far.
Um,
This was a good one. This was a really good episode. And yes, Omni Sinclair acted so well.
yeah. And retro, I'm not going to read that comment. I don't know if it's spoiling anything or not. I actually haven't seen Babylon 5 before. I don't know if you know this or not, but this is my first time ever watching it, so I'm I see it, but I'm not going to read it. Jeff can look at it and let me know if it's safe to read or not. Um,
I don't think it gives away anything.
yeah, okay, Robert Sheridan didn't get any orange juice, but he got that the juice that Franklin is supporting of. He gave his dad
Oh yeah, I can't remember what that was.
some alien drink. Um,
Yeah,
so the only
stem
clunky-ish
juice.
is stem juice. The only clunky-ish part of this episode was how they got Sheridan to get Morden on his radar, where it just so happened that uh, Garibaldi was looking through the Icarus manifest, crew manifest, and just so happened to recognize one of the people aboard.
Cheap Rod
Slightly,
Sterling.
slightly clunky, but you know what? I'll give him a pass. Uh, Once you
Sheridan was
got,
going through the records that Anna had sent him before she went
Mhm.
on the trip. And
uh,
yes, positive. Sheridan got a great big slap in the face.
that was
That's true.
great. I did like that she did not know how to do a stage slap. That was just a full on slap. And yeah,
And
it was
he didn't want
better
to do a
than
third take.
it was better than just Sheridan seeing the guy and being like, "Oh no, wow, that's the guy! What a crazy coincidence." Um, it, you know, I grant a little slack. It's hard to have things organically happen. You have to have a little coincidence to make a short story happen.
And
Uh,
coincidences happen.
but beyond that, just his descent into insanity basically was so well done, and just the way he was willing to push the envelope and push the envelope and push the envelope was very believable. That by the time he got to the end, he was willing to uh, curse the entire universe, basically, to doom it, and was on a knife edge trying to decide what to do. And it was just that one moment where he saw the actual spider shadows. That was it. That was what he needed. And because of that one moment, he blinked and he pulled back from
Hmm.
from the brink of destruction for everyone. Uh, so very well done. Because obviously Sheridan, in any other circumstance, never would have even gotten close to making that choice. But the way they led him to it, chef's kiss. Well done.
If you go to Zaha Doom, you will die.
And that's right. He
That's
didn't he didn't completely come back. He's still he was willing to relent, but he's still on a mission now.
Sheridan said he's going to Zaha Doom. That was Kosh's response. Was it a
I did
warning or was it
prophecy.
prophecy?
And what we saw tonight, so a while back, the episode where Sinclair Sheridan was kidnapped by the Greys. He had that dream vision thing where Ivanova had the crow, Garibaldi had the dove, and he saw himself in what looked like kind of be a Psy-Corps outfit.
He did.
The path he took with Kosh at the end of this episode, I feel like is a path that leads him to a more militant state where I could see him donning an outfit like that if that was what it took for him to get revenge.
Retro says maybe if he goes to Zaha Doom, he will dye his hair.
It's hard to get languages right.
And
That's why
Kosh is
Kosh was
never
so
clear.
confused. He's like, why? If I go, then I will die, but Lots will die with me? Like, what? What are you talking about? You setting up a salon?
Josh, he did say if you go to Zaha Doom, you will die.
Yeah. And Sheridan's response was, then I will die, but I will die fighting, and I'll take a lot with me. I'll take a lot of them with me, something like that.
Yeah, he did.
Or I'll die fighting, and I won't die alone. That's what it was. Gosh, I think we hit the major beats now. I feel like
They packed a lot in this episode, and I think the part that that got kind of skewed a little bit is this Ministry of Peace.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about them.
I think you kind of forget about it because of all the other major stuff that is in this episode. But you do see Zach with the armband at the end of the episode. If they want to give me 50 credits a week,
sure,
I'll take it. Doing it already anyway.
And it's interesting. I forget who it was, but someone was mentioning that there are now several new agencies that have been introduced the past couple of weeks.
I mentioned that we had Office of Public Information and the Ministry for Public Morale. They were both introduced last week.
And so I do find it interesting that after what appears to be a coup, there's a lot of evidence that it appears to have been a coup, that we're starting to get a lot of totalitarian setups in the government.
It seems that way.
Which, to me, it's one of those things where you have to wonder, is this all the machinations of the Psy-Corps and Chekhov? Or
Mr. Bester. That much.
Missed it by that much, I tell you what. Like, I have to wonder, is this Bester's machinations where he's trying to get things worked out, where he's taking things over, and He's set up a Manchurian candidate, basically, or is this just maybe Morton came and visited the vice president and said, "What do you want?" And the vice president gave an answer, and
Hmm.
so now, I mean, I could definitely see kind of these factions arising within every government, basically, of hey, whoever we can get to submit to us, we're going to get to submit to us and make them our thralls, and whoever we can't get to submit to us, we're just going to wipe them out. Yeah, Pavel Bester.
Thomas wants to know, why does everyone blame Bester?
Shoe fits.
I don't know if that line really works here. By the way, Ministry of Peace and mini packs are directly taken from 1984. They were in the novel.
Hmm. What about the public morale?
That one I'm unsure of.
It's been a long time since I read 1984.
Yeah, me too. I was in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps you remember the Russian epic of Cinderella.
Apparently, public morale was not in 1984.
Okay.
I just did a quick search.
All right.
But yeah,
Final thoughts of this week, Jeff.
very packed episode. We get a lot of exposition, a lot of backstory, a lot of new stuff too. Very well done episode. Box Leitner was the star of the episode, I think. His acting was just superb, and it sets up some things for the future. Good
Speaking of
episode.
future, next week is going to be episode 17, Knives.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. we
That's it.
I'm pretty sure we said that the rest of the season we're following the releases that I have, the release order I got.
If you follow the DVD Blu-ray order, you're good. Also, the order on Hulu, the Hulu channel, the free Hulu channel, not Hulu,
Tubi?
not Tubi.
Peacock?
Uh,
You're pulling a
not
Matthew right now.
Peacock. Yeah, I'm blanking out now on the name of it. They sell streaming boxes.
Oh, Roku.
Roku, thank you. Roku channel has it also. If you follow that order, you're good.
Okay.
So it is on the free Roku channel as well. If
Oh,
you
good.
with ads.
Well, yeah, yeah. So next week, Knives. Gosh, that's not giving me a lot of work with for a prediction.
No, unlike Shadow
Unlike,
of Zahadum.
yeah. So I mean, let's see. Acts of Sacrifice. That was a really Jakar centric episode. Hunter Prey. That was the Doctor episode, Doctor Jacobs. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched There Are the Honor Lies again. Um, now
Dolores
for
gets shared in a set of steak knives for being compliant with Mr. Sterling.
GoPros and Now for a Word were both very human centric episodes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Now for a Word, I still feel like it's very human centric.
Well, it was Earth media mostly,
Yeah.
and manipulation of the media.
Zahadum really focused on um, kind of what's going on with the higher beings, the shadow creatures. We found out about the first ones. What haven't we done in a little bit? We haven't seen the Psy-Core really make a big appearance in a while.
No, that's true.
Though Confessions and Lamentations, the following episode, that seems more like a Psy-Core kind of name to me for some reason. Knives. Tell you what, we're gonna say that's a Garibaldi episode. This is gonna be some sort of investigation that he's having to do. I think it's kind of take the tone of the Ezri Dax episode where she had to find the Vulcan killer.
Okay.
So I think we're going to be focusing on Garibaldi as he's trying to find this killer. There we go. Knives.
Who kills with knives?
That is a nickname. That's all I got for for that.
Okay.
Bester shows up saying he's looking for the knives, but he needs directions to Alameda.
Very good, John.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week, and I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Yes, that'll be the
December 30th.
Yes, next week. Look forward to seeing everyone as we continue our journey through Babylon 5 at our hour of scampering.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh yeah, Merry Christmas.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will. And be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified of all the updates I do on this channel. If you want to support the work I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, where you'll get early access to all kinds of videos. And until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.